Hi guys, welcome to another MobiFlight release review video. My name is Sebastian. I am the creator of MobiFlight, which is your favorite open source home cockpit building platform. And I'm so happy that I was able to release version 9.1 last week. And in this video, we're going to take a closer look at all the cool new features and the bug fixes and the enhancements that are included in this release, so that you know for sure it's worth updating. All right, before we go into the details of the new stuff, I just want to say one thing, and that's really important to me. I want to say thank you to everyone who is part of the MobiFlight community. You're extremely awesome. I mean, it's really, really cool to see what's going on. Go to our Discord server, go to our forum. There are so many people who are involved. They help each other, they share their knowledge, they share their ideas. That's so great. And also, especially during the last year, I have received a lot of support with coding on the MobiFlight platform, and that's really cool. And I also want to say a big thank you to all of you who have been able to donate something to the MobiFlight project and are backing the project. That's just an incredible feedback, and it's very, very, very motivating to me. All right, now let's take a look at the good stuff. There's one thing that I almost forgot to mention. So on the Microsoft Flight Sim forum, we're currently having something going on. We submitted an improvement idea to their wish list. You might know from the Q&A, from development Q&As, they're always looking at these improvement ideas. And the one that we submitted is obviously about improving the API to allow us easier access to all the data inside the sim, inside of the planes. If you are a MobiFlight user already, you know that this was really difficult for Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, and it also is constantly changing with every update of the sim itself, and also with the different add-ons. We're constantly chasing the API and make it possible to you to actually interface with the sim. So if you haven't voted yet, please go to the Flight Sim forum and drop a vote for our proposal there. Thank you so much. Okay, so now finally we are looking into the release things, the release news. Let's head over to the download page on our MobiFlight.com project website. So here in this area, if you have never ever before downloaded MobiFlight, just go here, download it for free at any time. And below, you will find a list of changes, the so-called release notes for every single release. These are referencing actually our GitHub. So if you click on one of these, it will also take you to the GitHub page with a little bit more information. All right, so let's take a closer look. What do we got? First thing, an important kind of shout out is that MobiFlight 9.1 also bundles a new version of the MobiFlight WASM module, which you need to interface and make it work with the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. So there's going to be a pop-up that reminds you of that, acknowledge that you want to update, and you're good to go. By the way, the MobiFlight version 9.1 also includes an updated list of all the events that we are collecting on HubHop to make it easier for you to configure MobiFlight so that it works nicely with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. There's also a MobiFlight firmware bundled with this new release, which you will also see that on startup, your MobiFlight application is going to remind you that you have modules that still run with an older firmware and that you want to upgrade those. So please do so. It's a pretty straightforward process, and it should also really work very stable. Always go and upgrade to the latest and greatest version. It not only improves it not only provides you new functionality, it also provides you improved stability, and which is also a great benefit for the community. We can help each other more efficiently if we are all using the same version. So please, these messages pop up, just go ahead and please update. All right, we're looking at the main feature of the 9.1, which allows you to connect your joysticks to MobiFlight and assign all these cool MobiFlight functions and input actions to your buttons and axes. I'm going to show you how that works because it's exactly the same as if it was a MobiFlight board. If you go to the inputs section and we create a test configuration, if you go to the module drop down, you will not only see your boards, your MobiFlight boards, you will also see all the joysticks that are connected at the time when you start MobiFlight. Make sure they're connected before you start MobiFlight, and then they will show up as long as it is a standard hit device that also shows in the Windows game controller settings. So in my case, I got trim wheel rudder pedals, flight quadrant, and also my cool fancy aviator joystick that I have already a couple of years. And you can see if you click on device there, you see buttons and you see the axes, and they have really meaningful names, and it makes it very easy to assign an action to the right button. Even the head switch is supported, so pretty cool. Go here, you can see head switches and the buttons. They are behaving exactly the same as if they were MobiFlight buttons with on pressed and on release. And if you pick an axis, then you can assign the on change, or you can do something for the on change event. So plenty of possibilities. Let's take button 14 and say, oh no, let's an event. Let's say, for example, the A320 lights. We want to toggle those on with these strobes. Super cool. And we can confirm this. So if we want to see these events coming in just for debug purpose, I will enable offline mode and logging for now. And then if we put it in run mode, we can now see that there's all these events coming in, which is super cool, so that you know the name of the button. Also, you can detect that very easily. And if you want to see the axis also, the axis events logged, they might produce a lot of output here. This is really recommended only for temporary usage. Enable it, disable it. Otherwise, it could have a negative impact on your performance, on your MobiFlight performance. So you can also disable this again, and then everything should be really fast. I hope you like this feature. Yeah, just let us know what you're going to build with your joystick or assign to your joystick if you're going to use this feature. That would be really fun. Put it down in the comment section. I'm really looking forward to hearing and seeing what you are doing with this new cool feature. All right, let's look at the improvements. So there's 7 of them. The first one being show the active save button only if the configuration has really changed. All right, this is a cool thing. Really nice add that you only get this icon turning blue when you really make a change to the configuration. This was not always the case. In some occasions, this would always also turn blue if you hadn't made a change. So for example, in this case, you see I didn't make any changes to my configuration. Now it stays gray. And the good thing is now also, because when you do make a change, you get this notification on exit, which can just throw people off when there was actually no change made. So this is working now far better, and I hope you like that. All right, the next improvements are actually similar to each other. They both increase the maximum size that is allowed for sending codes to the MobiFlight WASM module. It was limited to, I believe, 256 characters in the past and is now bumped up to over 1,000. This is especially useful for power users, like we got Jaime, who was the guy who reported this, who are really putting together long code snippets and make some really cool stuff work inside of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. So this is now working for outputs and also for inputs equally. All right, the next one is about the retrigger feature from MobiFlight. Not everyone might know what it is for, but basically MobiFlight allows you to send the current state of your switches one more time to the sim to make sure that your physical components are now in the same position as the ones in the virtual cockpit, or better said, the other way around. There was something going on with the way we had implemented before, which was noticed by Thomas, that with a 3-position switch off on off, the sync would not always happen as expected. So this is now fixed, and there was also support from other guys from the community, as you can see here on GitHub. Thank you very much for helping with this. And yeah, good observation that this was not working as in all conditions. So coming to the next one, placeholders can only be used in compare fields if the field also contains a $sign. All right, this is a cool improvement. In the past, oops, I'm sorry, here in the output section, in the past, you could only use expressions, and with expressions we mean something like if dollar equals 0, do something, otherwise do something different. You could actually use these kind of things similar to the transform field also in the compare sections here, but only if you were using a $sign. And this is now changed because we have the config references. So sometimes you also want to have this expression evaluated, even though that there is no $sign. This is also probably a feature for more advanced users. So if you don't really understand the benefit of this, don't worry. But there is some guys who are really kind of pushing the limits of MobiFlight, and they're happy that this is now accessible and available to them. There's another one which is about the tab order. Like even these small enhancements, they're all mentioned on the list. And it's cool that this was an observation by Neil, and also the fix was provided by Neil. So that in the part where you configure the MobiFlight variables, you can now jump correctly from one input field to another. And another community contribution is the better git ignore file. This is also something that is more development related, which simply makes sure that we do not accidentally commit files to the repository which are not needed. Cool, so these were the improvements. Now let's take a look at the bug fixes. And as you can see, there are many of them, so I will go over them more briefly. The test mode button is active while in run mode. There was a problem with this test mode button, which should go inactive whenever you're executing your configuration. Then the pin 0 was not marked for use for ProMicro. ProMicro is the only board that actually allows you to use the pin 0, and Mega don't. So there were some, parts in the software where this was not handled correctly. The analog inputs, like the potentiometers, they would generate a lot of precondition errors and count precondition errors, which was obviously a bug because it didn't make any sense. We got rid of that. Config properties are not displayed in the list view after creating a new config item. So this means that here these fields were not always filled correctly when you created a new configuration. This is now fixed too. So like this, for example, now these get populated. And then the last bug that we could squeeze was the MobiFlight modules dialog. The user was able to open the MobiFlight modules dialog before actually all the modules were detected. Like during the startup progress, you could already click here, which doesn't make any sense. All right, so this brings us to the end of this release review video for MobiFlight version 9.1, the best MobiFlight version ever, with really cool new features like the joystick support and also a long list of bugs that got fixed. Really happy that you can now download it for free. Go to MobiFlight.com, or just if you have already installed MobiFlight, make sure you click when the auto update dialog pops up. Also, please, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. That helps a lot. You stay informed. Hit the notification bell so that you get a reminder whenever we upload a new video. And I can tell you, I'm already working on the next release for MobiFlight, so better stay tuned. And I hope to see you soon on this channel. Bye-bye. Stay safe and healthy, and many happy and great landings.